Wake up! This is Breakfast and Bets.
Prepare to do breakfast.
What's cracking, y'all? It is Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. Y'all decided to wake up for some Breakfast and Bets with myself along with my co-host, Mitch Carl. Unfortunately, I had audio issues this morning. Mitch was here for about 3 recordings of this, but I was double echoing. It sounded awful. So Mitch had to dip. I'm flying solo for this one, but I will not be here on Friday. Mitch will be here flying solo to post a video for the upcoming Friday slate. I know it's Flex Friday over on PrizePicks, but we got Thursday Night Football, the Ravens and the Bengals. A very important game, especially with the breaking news that Deshaun Watson is now out for the remainder of the season. This is an AFC North matchup. Both of these teams are coming off of losses this past Sunday. Cleveland upsetting the Baltimore Ravens, and then the Cincinnati Bengals losing at home to the C.J. Stroud-led Houston Texans. So this is a game that both teams need to win. Both quarterbacks need to come out hot. We already know that Joe Burrow is going to be without one of his star wide receivers, T. Higgins, so it's the Jamar Chase show. So we're going to pull up the MySparry Odds Finder tool, see if we can find any value, talk through a couple of plays that Mitch and I like, look at the over-under total for this game, talk through some theories and at least some markets that you guys could be targeting for some prop bets, whether that be on parlay sites or the sports book. So make sure you tap into Mitch's channel. Link is in the description. He's already posted an NBA video for today. We got a nice slate in the NBA as well. So we'll see what we can find, get you in and out in about 15 minutes or less. So let's get to the Baltimore game, Baltimore and the Cincinnati Bengals, and sort of where this is at. So we look at this game right now. There is an over-under total of this game at 46.5, with Baltimore favored by 3.5. Doesn't look like weather will be an issue for this one. You've got Joe Burrow. You've got Lamar Jackson. The rushing attack, Gus Edwards, Keaton Mitchell, Joe Mixon. You got Chase and Zay Flowers leading their teams respectively in their receiving yard categories. Baltimore 7-3, Cincinnati 5-4. Again, both of these teams need a victory, especially with Deshaun Watson being out for the season. So let's go to the odds finder tool and talk about a couple of plays that I like. And I love the tackle and assisted tackle market. This is a free tool that you can use, mysparryedge.com. Check it out for free. We shop before we eat. We always look at the lines and the value. But Roquan Smith, his player tackles plus assisted tackles over 9.5 on PrizePicks. You see this number, 9.5 on PrizePicks, 9.5 on Underdog Fantasy. And then you look at the books, Fliff minus 145 to the over, DK minus 135, minus 139 on Caesars, and minus 135 on BetMGM. Really want to see that about minus 140 to get me super excited. But Roquan Smith is coming off of a game where he had 20-plus tackles. He's all over the field. Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, they're going to have to get it done in a variety of ways. And we've seen the Cincinnati Bengals deploy their tight ends a little more frequently of late. So this is a matchup where I like the early juice for this one. I do think that by the time this game kicks off Thursday night, we will see this Roquan Smith number bumped up to 10. You already see it at 10 on Parlay Play. So if you can lock Roquan Smith over 9.5 tackles in on PrizePicks, I think that's a very solid play that you can do. And matter of fact, we'll go ahead and do that right now. I got Jamar Chase pulled up. But let's look at Roquan Smith and 9.5 tackles and assisted tackles. You could still catch that on PrizePicks right now. But let's head back over to the Odds Finder tool and talk through a couple of other plays. And on the other side of the ball, Jermaine Pratt right here, over 7.5 tackles and assisted tackles, 57% implied probability to hit this number according to the average of all the books and the juice. You see minus 145 on Fliff, minus 130 on DK. Jermaine Pratt, let's just take a look at what Pratt's done because I'm not quite sure. So let's go here. Tackles and assisted tackle market. This is props.cash that we're using to just do a little bit of research, and you'll see right here, Roquan Smith, this was the last time versus Cincinnati, but 21 tackles versus Cleveland. Good night, Roquan Smith. You see what he's done versus Cincinnati. The trend doesn't look too good, and I don't know if this was with him playing with the Ravens these last 2 games. Hell, the last 3, I believe he was with the Ravens all 3 of those games. So 16, 8, and 5. You look at his last 5. Roquan's been kind of up and down, but it looked like he got it going last week. Jermaine Pratt, same token, right? Last 5, 9, 11, 5, 6, and 10 versus Baltimore. Pretty nice. 8, 9, 8, 3, 6, and 3 for Jermaine Pratt's tackle and assisted tackle play. When Mitch and I talked about this game a little earlier, he thinks that this is going to go under the 46.5 total. the Baltimore Ravens have been very good against Jamar Chase of late, limiting those big plays. And I'll pull that up really quickly so we can just take a look at Jamar Chase. So Jermaine Pratt and Roquan Smith, we took a look at that. Let's go to receiving yards. Take a look at Jamar Chase, what he's done versus Baltimore of late. 85.5 receiving yards on the books for Jamar Chase. Let's get that pulled up. Receiving yards for Chase. Where are you at, Chase? Why are you not pulling up? Don't know why this is not pulling up for Jamar Chase. What do we have versus Baltimore 2023? There's Tyler Boyd. Where are you at, Jamar? There goes Jamar Chase. So 124 versus Houston, 41, 180. And let's see, versus Baltimore, it looks like it's not pulling all the stuff up right now. But the trend versus Baltimore is he hasn't been very good versus him of late. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Again, no T. Higgins in this matchup, but Jamar Chase's receiving yard line, if you think this is going to go under the 46.5 points, this may be something you want to avoid. This number is 86.5 on PrizePicks, 85.5 across most books. But let's pull up the odds finder tool and see if there's anything else that we can scour for really quickly that we may like. This is a number, I talked to Mitch about this one, Keaton Mitchell, over 35.5 yards. You look at FanDuel, has this number at 36.5 right now. Parlay Play, 36.5, 35.5 on PrizePicks, and on Underdog Fantasy, 56 implied probability to hit that total. Nothing on Pinnacle yet for Keaton Mitchell, but keep your eyes peeled for that one. And here's an interesting one. Gus Edwards. We've got 3 different lines. PrizePicks, 48.5. Underdog, 47.5. Parlay Play, 49.5 rushing yards for Gus Edwards. All the books have this sitting at 47.5. Pretty much even money on BetMGM, FanDuel, minus 114, DK, minus 125. So not a ton of juice for this to be over-under. But if you were going to take an under on any of the parlay sites, Parlay Play at 49.5 would be the spot that you would do that at. And if you kind of wanted to play a little frisky, you got 2 yards of difference here. You could take an over Gus Edwards rushing yards on Underdog Fantasy. Scroll down a little bit more. There goes Chase and his 86.5 receiving yards. And that's why it's probably not pulling up. It looks like books have actually pulled this line or have not posted the Jamar Chase receiving yards line right now. We've got Zay Flowers, the odds finder tool, spitting out a little bit of an under for us, 54.5 yards. And look at this. All the sports books, 52.5, 51.5. And PrizePicks giving us that at 54.5 yards for Zay Flowers. So what you could do with this matchup is go under Zay Flowers' yards on PrizePicks, because the sportsbooks are telling us that PrizePicks may be a little too high on their initial valuation of this line at 54.5. I know Mitch was a big fan of Lamar Jackson's rush attempts, and you see right here, Lamar Jackson, 8.5, 55% implied probability to go under that total. But again, this is one where if the game script is going to be a little ugly and not hit that 46.5 point total, Lamar had 8 rush attempts last week, and I don't think there's any reason why Baltimore is going to stop running him. Even on a short week, this is a must-win game for the Ravens. Got to get it done using Lamar Jackson. Let's take a look at his over market for the same thing. 8.5, 55% implied probability to go over this number. You look at the passing rushing yards, 170.5, and we're seeing it on the books, 172.5, pretty much even money. Interceptions, nothing great in this market that I love. Passing touchdowns under 1.5 for Lamar, a lot of juice. Pinnacle minus 144, DK minus 140 for Lamar to go under 1.5 passing touchdowns in that matchup. Let's clear off of the Stroud market and just see if there's anything else from this game that we may want to identify that we could find. Scrolling down the tool, you got Odell Beckham Jr.'s receiving yard lines, but nothing on the books. Already talked about Roquan Smith. We like the over 9.5 tackles and assisted tackles. Jermaine Pratt, over 7.5 tackles and assisted tackles as well. Gus Edwards, potentially an under on Parlay Play, 49.5. His rushing yard lines, you see all the books have this number set at 47.5. I see Joe Burrow down there. Let's see if we've got some, this is interesting. All right, we've got Joe Burrow, Pinnacle, minus 154 to 259.5 passing yards for Joe Burrow. And then we have this on PrizePicks at 162. So all the other books and parlay sites have this 258.5 to 259.5 on Pinnacle. This is an interesting one. This Joe Burrow play, 56% implied probability to hit that total. No T. Higgins, strong Baltimore defense. Let's take a look at how Burrow has fared versus Baltimore here of recent. Let's see what we have. Last time they played each other earlier this season, 222 for Joe Burrow versus Baltimore. Interesting number for Joe Burrow. And so far, his last game, he had 347, 348, and 283. So he's kind of cruised past this number his last 3 games. But again, versus Baltimore when they played this year, 222 for Joe Burrow, even money at 259.5. So when you come over to PrizePicks and you see this Burrow line at 262, and you just click the last 5 games, I mean, this is risky. He's gone over this 4 of the last 5, but right now, early money is to an under Joe Burrow. So we've got Roquan Smith over, Joe Burrow less than 262 yards. So again, depending on how you feel about this, you look at the sports books, Pinnacle at 259.5, minus 154 to the under. That's a nice bit of juice right there from the sharpest book in the world. So again, nothing official, just walking through the odds, looking at some of the matchup data and seeing if we can identify some inefficiencies in the books and in the market and see if we can capitalize on any of that. I'll do a quick scroll real quick, and I'm not seeing a ton else. We don't want to force anything. Odell Beckham under 2 receptions, 2.5 on the books. Wouldn't touch that one. Minus 149, Gus Edwards under a touchdown. You can't even play that anywhere. There's no market available for that. And then we got Mark Andrews receptions right here, under 4.5, 58 implied probability. Look at the juice on this one. Whoo, buddy. If you think he's going to go under, FanDuel's the place to take it at minus 122, under 4.5 receptions for Mark Andrews. I mean, personally, I don't feel great about that. And then we got Jermaine Pratt. So let's add Jermaine Pratt. Forgot to add Pratt here. P-R-A-T-T, Jermaine Pratt, more than 7.5 tackles and assisted tackles. And my man Mitch did say, take that Lamar line, that Lamar rushing attempt line at 8.5, 8, 9, 5, 8, and 13. Lamar Jackson, there you go. You could run this as a 4-pick power. You could take what you like, leave what you don't. From this slip, all plays directly from the MySparry Odds Finder tool. And since we got a little bit of time left, let's pivot over to the NBA and just see if there's any value that we could spot on the NBA slate tonight. Got a nice little matchup tonight. So let's see what we've got. Let's pull it back up and just run through the same process. We are going to highest to lowest implied probability. I always look at Pinnacle first just to see, and then let's scroll down here and see if we can find some prize picks for today that we like in the NBA. Underdog, what's this? Paolo, under 1.5 threes on Underdog. Ooh, this is nice. This is nice juice right here. If you have Underdog Fantasy, which you should, under 1.5 threes for Paolo Banchero, minus 158 on Penn, anywhere from minus 135 on DK all the way up to minus 145 on Fliff. I don't mind this at all. You also have Jalen Brunson under threes. You could play this on the sports books. 2.5 on the books, Pinnacle minus 144. Love the juice there. And if you were going to play it, Caesars minus 135 pricing. That'd be where you would want to play it if you want to take an under on Jalen Brunson's 3-pointers. Bradley Beal back in action. You got PrizePicks and Underdog with his rebounds and assist line, spitting out an over 8. You know, I don't really like whole numbers, but this one, look at the juice here. Anywhere from minus 140 to minus 151 on Caesars, minus 155 on Fliff. You got Zach LaVine under 9 rebounds and assists. Heavy juice to the under at 9.5 on the sports book. So let's see if we can find some half numbers we like. Paolo under 1.5 player-made threes on Underdog. I like that quite a bit. That's something that I will probably run a little later today. And more Underdog fantasy value. Look at this. Brook Lopez, over 4.5 player rebounds. Nice juice right here. 58% implied probability. And on PrizePicks, we see this number at 5. So we've already built out a 3-pick Underdog slip. You can go Brook Lopez, over 4.5 rebounds. Paolo, under 1.5 player-made threes. And there was somebody else in there. I'm sure we'll find another Underdog. Let's scroll down, keep going, and see what we've got. Jakob Poeltl, under 22.5. Look at this. Points, rebounds, and assists. 58% implied probability to hit. Minus 157 on Pinnacle. minus 135 on DraftKings and Fliff. Man, BetMGM, if you just wanted to take a single right there, minus 125 pricing is phenomenal. But you see, PrizePicks and Parlay Play 22. You're getting that half a point right there for Jakob Poeltl on Underdog Fantasy. So I mean, we literally could lock this in. Jakob Poeltl under 22.5 PRAs. Paolo Banchero under 1.5 player-made threes. And then who was the other guy that we talked about? Brook Lopez over 4.5 rebounds. There it is. It's as simple as that. Shopping, finding some value, identifying some good spots, some deficiencies and some discrepancies in the market, and hammering it. Parlay Play finally giving us some value. Dame Lillard over 9.5 rebounds and assists. Got decent juice right here, but you see the other books, the other parlay sites at 10. So there's some value right there on Parlay Play. Kobe White over his assists, 5.5. Not enough juice on Penn for me, but FanDuel's got this thing heavily juiced at minus 142 at 5.5 for Kobe White over his assist total. Man, there's a lot of value in the NBA. Minus 156. What do we have? Devin Booker. Do you have the stones to go under 25.5? Devin Booker. I mean, this is a PrizePicks. 25.5 PrizePicks underdog parlay play. 57% implied probability. And minus 156 juice on Pinnacle to go under this total. Who the hell do the I don't know who they play tonight. Who do they play? Let's see the matchup right there. Versus the Timberwolves. Oh, Suns at home, late game, so it'll be a late night sweat if you do that one. And let's see, we've got another minute left, and I'll get you guys out of here. We've already built out a few for underdog. Julius Randle, 9.5 rebounds. For whatever reason, I just can't bet him right. I'll take the under, he goes over. I'll take the over, he goes under. LeBron James, they got some assists, over 6.5. DK, you see that at minus 125. So, again, this is a free tool. MySpariEdge.com. Use it for free. We identified a couple of picks. The ones that I really love for the Thursday night game, Roquan's tackles and assisted tackles. I like Jermaine Pratt. If you're going to bet on Lamar Jackson, his rush attempts, if you're going to play with some Gus Edwards, then you've got to be in on some of the defenders from the Cincinnati Bengals. Jermaine Pratt, 9.5 tackles and assisted tackles. Joe Burrow, listen, this is where the money is. It's just value. But if you don't like Joe Burrow, take him out. You've got one Bengal, two Ravens in there. Take out what you like. If you don't want Jermaine Pratt or Lamar Jackson, you can pair these up with some other players. We built out an underdog fantasy slip, a 3-pick over there. There it is, breakfast and bets. Hit the thumbs up button, like the content, subscribe to the channel. Mitch will be here on Friday posting some picks for Flex Friday over on PrizePicks. And if you tail any of these picks, good luck to you on Thursday Night Football. Good luck to you in the NBA. Scan the QR code at the top of the screen. Check out Mitch Carl's his channel on YouTube where he's already posted an NBA video, and we'll be doing this every single week. We'll see y'all later. Good luck. Good night. I'm out. Peace.